Ladies and gentlemen, now today I whirled out a little bit more to finish off building my pierce rate set on Howzer, and I wanted to do a bit of a comparison today because something I was really looking for the other week was kind of the difference and importance of like pierce rate versus an attack set, because I was really skeptical building up pierce rate, but every JP player was like, dude, if you want to play Howzer, if you want that maximum farming efficiency, you have to build a full pierce set. But of course I was a little bit skeptical, man, just because looking at like my attack set in comparison, if I equip that, I literally go up about like 2,000 attack. It's really big. We got banging rolls on like all of the SSR equipment for the attack set and also the pierce rate set as well. So I'm like, I'm dropping like 2,000 attack for this massive increase in pierce rate. Is it actually worth it? So I'm going to give you guys the very short answer, which is yes. That is a really solid damage increase at his base from the pierce set. And I was quite impressed by the difference as well. On his general kind of Rising Storm bronze, which again, you're just using this as soon as you've got it in PvP, and auto farming, he's always firing this off as well, is a 33% on average increase to the damage output of that ability. So it's pretty substantial, man, especially when you're stacking those up. When it comes to his Rising Storm gold, however, this gap kind of closes a little bit. I kind of ran a simulation. Again, I did like 10 of each ability with the pierce set and also 10 of each ability with the attack set, and then I've averaged out to find my results, and then I've calculated the percentage difference between the two, just to let you know the math behind that. So yeah, at gold there's a bit less of an increase, but it still is a 14% increase. But again, it's very rare that you're going to see those gold abilities, especially when auto farming, and also in PvP as well. For Super Cyclone, which is his second ability, just to show you as well, this is the one with the sever damage here. There is a very small increase, only like a 3% increase between the two. So yeah, not too much difference there, but it's still, an increase. However, one additional con of running the pierce rate set is the ultimate damage, because obviously this scales wildly off your maximum attack. This is actually reduced by about 12 to 15%. So the ult damage is a bit less spicy. However, the thing is, when you're playing Howzer in PvP, most of the time your strategy really isn't to rush to ult, it's to play on these compositions and have coin food active and burst down your opponent with just this crazy AoE cleave. So it doesn't matter as much in PvP. And I would say as well, for auto farming as well, if your Howzer is built strong enough and he's stacked enough, then like, you're not going to see the ultimate because everything's going to be dead before then, and that's kind of like the ideal, scenario to make auto farming go quicker and quicker there. So there are all of the stats and numbers, but yeah, pierce rate gear is really solid, really good for characters like Howzer. I think Howzer does have the strongest benefit from it overall, but also Green Lizhawk and Wineheart as well. I think are two characters that really benefit from the pierce set, but again, pierce rating and pierce gear is not kind of like an overall, this is really good for every character in the game. It's just good for the characters that do have those abilities like Howzer does, Rising Storm, which inflict pierce damage that then has the 3 times pierce rate increase that really multiplies that pierce you have on your gear by a load and kind of really adds up the damage there. So you got to look for that pierce rating increase and see where it could be valuable. By Howzer, I think, at least to the best of my knowledge, so far pretty much is the king of pierce rate gear. And if you do want to improve your auto farming efficiency and also play this guy in elite geared PvP, because again, he's not really that great for normal PvP, but in elite geared PvP, when you can add the gear on him and get that pierce rate multiplier, like, he really shines. So anyway, now that I've waffled on, I'm just going to show you guys all the comparison footage so we can have a little bit of a look at the differences. So the way we're going to structure this comparison is, first off, take a look at the attack substats and the damage that he's dealing with kind of your regular attack rolls, and then look at the pierce gear or pierce substats and kind of see the difference there. So with the attack substats, the kind of ceiling of damage on the bronze kind of appears to be like just below 28,000, and he really struggles to kind of get over that. Then when we swap out those two pierces for the pierce substats, the damage just goes up by a really nice chunk. Like the average is about 33,000 to about 36,000 when we get a bit luckier on the crits as well. But yeah, it's just a really noticeable increase on Rising Storm, and this is kind of the base move to get the most damage out of Howzer and just cleave your opponents down as quickly as you possibly can. So the pierce rate, man, for the damage increase on this core ability alone is definitely worth it. And again, it is about a 33% increase, just comparatively speaking. And just to add in additional comparison as well, I wanted to have a look at this core card in its golden form, and it kind of seems the more this value goes up, the less the increase is, just comparatively speaking. So there's only a 14% increase between the attack and also the pierce set. However, the increase is actually quite noticeable. You'll see with the attack substats, kind of the max Howzer is dealing is about 50,000 damage from this gold card. So yeah, still pretty impressive by AoE cleave standards, but let's have a bit of a look at the pierce rate set. So switching over to the pierce rate set, you'll see the very first one, I think is the largest hit we got at 57,000, but on average, like, it's kind of well above 50,000 in terms of the damage output here. Kind of does bounce around a lot depending on the crits from this move as well, as you are going to see, but I think the lowest hit we had in this test was 48,000. So yeah, you can see there's still a solid increase in comparison to the attack set, but again, it's not as crazy as the increase on the bronze card. Now, when it comes to his second card, Super Cyclone at the bronze level, I recorded very close to no difference. There was actually a 3% increase on the pierce set, so the pierce set was ever so slightly better, but again, with this set, there is close to like nothing in it, man. They're so close in terms of the damage overall. So this is a few examples of this card at the bronze level with the attack substats. And then moving over to the pierce substats, so the damage is ever so slightly higher, 3% on average. You're going to see like a few hundred more damage, but it's nothing like super insane, super game changing. But I was interested to find that there was actually more damage on the pierce set. I kind of thought with the pierce set, there was going to be less damage on this one, because it doesn't modify off pierce rating. So yeah, a little bit of a weird one, but just worth noting as well. Then finally, if we have a look at Howzer's ultimate ability, you'll actually see that there is a fair bit more damage off his ultimate when you have the attack substats based off the pierce rate. And this is probably just due to the fact that, again, those ultimate skills, they do have massive attack multipliers, and it inflicts damage equal to, again, 600% of his attack on all enemies. So this is where, you know, it's a bit of a downside to running the pierce set in comparison to the attack one. But again, going back to the start of the video, if we look at the kind of main reason you run Howzer, it's just to burst a lot of enemies down very quickly for auto farming efficiency and to be a really good character just for nuking all sorts off the face of this planet in elite geared PvP. So again, it's a bit of a con, but I think like a single bronze card really does just make up for the difference in damage here. So you know, it's still like a massive pro in the favor of Howzer. However, there is that second additional thing of running the pierce set in comparison as well, gives you less overall CC. So you are a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to PvP matchmaking there. So you can see some very nice like 110k plus crits, 70k when it doesn't crit. However, looking at the pierce gear here, we're seeing about like 62,000 non-crit, and when it does crit, it's kind of like between like 94 and also 103,000 damage. But here we didn't get too lucky on some of the crit RNG, so you can see a lot of non-crits, but you can really feel that, like, you know, 12 to 15% difference in terms of the damage output. But there's also a lot more variance on the ultimate, being a much larger number as well. You can see here we finally get a crit, and it's 102,000, and then I think we crit for the exact same number twice in a row here. So again, exactly the same crit. Then it's unfortunately followed up by a slightly unluckier crit in the 94k region, so I think that's probably on the lower side of his damage output there. But yeah, you can see like the pierce rate, it does take a toll on Howzer's ultimate, but it's the price you pay for being an OP farming beast that can just get everything down with minimal moves, so it is a small price to pay, but just something to keep in mind as well. So that's it for all my Howzer testing today so far, and this is my first time doing a video like this, so let me know in the comments section below or by smashing that like button if you did enjoy today's video. Did you find it useful? Is there any constructive criticism about this type of video? Because again, this is the first time trying to do something like this, so I don't know if it was like enjoyable to watch or not, or educational. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.